Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 310 of the Grip Strip podcast, a tradition unlike any other, the GSP. My name is Philip Matthew from the Matthew Cabin here, doing my usual hosting of the show in a more subtle tone. And at the Hafine Nest is the iRacing Indy 500 champion, computer genius, a gentleman and a scholar. His name is Josh Hafine. What's going on, brother?
Well, Phil, it's definitely a great time, a great tradition here as we prepare for Masters Week here on the GSP. But yeah, a great Easter Sunday, of course, for me and everybody else, hopefully. But yes, it was definitely a time this past weekend with trucks and Xfinity back at Rockingham Speedway.
Yeah, there was racing at the Rock. There was Cletus McFarland spinning out a lot. Squirrel actually not doing terrible in the second ARCA race. We'll get into the NASCAR events there. We'll do a little preview of the Masters. We will talk about Ken Roczen getting 2 consecutive wins in Supercross as they go into Nashville, and now it's a 3-way battle for the championship. Super Formula was at Motegi last week. We'll talk about Rally Croatia, Supercars at Taupo, Super 440, and then the Winternationals at Pomona that are now in the spring. That have been in the spring the last few years. I don't know why they still call it the Winternationals. We will make our picks for the Tripleheader at Bristol, which will definitely have no ratings because of the Masters. You'll also have, you had bowling yesterday. That was Spencer Robarge getting his first career win over his former teammate at Wichita State, and Ryan Barnes, Packy finishing third there, and EJ Tackett losing to a 290 game in the first game to Chris Vi, but they'll be in New York this week, coming on early, but it'll creep into the Masters coverage, so I don't know how that whole thing works, but we'll make our picks for all 3 NASCAR series. Joshua will tell us about everything going on. Excuse me. In iRacing, gaming, and the sim segment, and then we'll call it a day. So yeah, we will start with the O'Reilly event at Rockingham Speedway, the North Carolina Education Lottery 250. Now Rockingham, because of where they used, I don't know where they measured the track or how they measured the track in the past, but now the way they measure the track, it is less than a mile in length, which is interesting. It's 99/10 of a mile, 94/100 of a mile oval there, but not really a whole heck of a lot of action outside of Cletus McFarland, seemingly. You had Corey Day going out there, winning both stages, led the most laps, started on pole, looked like he was trying to be like his mentor, Kyle Larson, in getting a first win at the Rock. Larson, I think his first truck series win he ever had was at the Rock back in 2012 or 13, something like that. You had Brent Cruz out there, had pace, but then had issues later in the day. I think there were pit road problems. Same thing happened with Jesse Love. He's always been fast at Rockingham both times they've been there. Just based on the takeaways from Downforce Danny, that's his new name. Danny Stockman literally changed his name on Instagram to Downforce Danny because of Gleat and them. So they led laps. You had a few guys. There really wasn't a whole lot of movement in the top 10. Of the 10, drivers that finished in the top 10, 9 of them scored some stage points. or at some point during the day. Sammy Smith had stage points in stage one, the winner from last year after Jesse Love got DQ. Jeremy Clements had stage points in stage two, Cruz and then Jesse Love, but there were only 6 leaders in the race, 4 with double digit lead laps led. But for it essentially was a tale of two races. At the start of the day, it was Corey Day. Then there was a pit stop kind of sequence there. Then it went to Brent Cruz and then flipped over to William Sawalich, who, after what has been a pretty difficult baptism by fire, so to speak, in O'Reilly, Xfinity, wrecking a lot, struggling. It looked like he turned the corner in the fall last year, has had a rough start to the year, but went out there and led the last 79 laps of the race to go and get his first career win. Going out there and nearly getting, he was 5 points away from a perfect score because of the stage points. So I mean, he was up front. He was lurking. Utilized strategy, utilized the way the cautions landed in his favor, and in the grand scheme for him, he's had bad luck a lot. As I mentioned, but in this case, with a lot of stuff going on around him, there wasn't that many cars. There was only 2 cars that fell out of the race. So he was having to go through lap traffic. He was having to avoid some really slow vehicles. He was having to avoid people who were out of control. But William Sawalich, Joe Gibbs Racing in general looked really good on Saturday. I mean, Cruz finish is not indicative of where or how good he ran. Sawalich, Buckshot Jones, Allgaier, Rajah Caruth, they all qualify for the Dash for Cash as well. Carson Quapple, Sheldon Creed, Taylor Gray, Parker Retzlaff, another great run at Rockingham for him. Ryan Sieg and Day, who lost track position but was able to come back up there. But LeVar Scott there, top 15 finish for him, just behind his teammate Brennan Poole. Nathan Bird, who was back there with Cleat and I think got into him or was moved by him or whatever, somehow or another came all the way back up to 16th. 21 cars are on the lead lap. Among those, LeBay, Williams, J.J. Illy, and Andrew Patterson. But yeah, Josh, Sawalich, JGR, after what has been a slow start to their 2026 O'Reilly Series campaign, have a solid run, and now all 3 of their regular drivers are currently in the chase points cutoff. So, I mean, but for Sawalich, getting that first win, getting that monkey off his back is huge.
Yeah, it's a huge deal for him, of course. First or second year here in the O'Reilly Series, right? Been around in the trucks for a bit as well in ARCA, and seemed like he had a lot of talent in ARCA, of course. Not so much in trucks, but and definitely we thought he was a big talent, or a lot of people thought he was a big talent in ARCA Series, and now here in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, of course, last year, terrible luck throughout the year and outside of the playoff now. Now, with this win, of course, it's an opportunity for him to get things back on track, of course. And of course, when, at Darlington or at Rockingham, a track that, is hard on tires and you need good handling, good aero, a really good car. They brought a good car for him, of course, and he was able to hold the lead up front and stay there. So, yeah, the team, I mean, obviously for the 18 team and the 20 Joe Gibbs racing cars, able to stay up front after second stage there. Corey Day, of course, dominated this race the first half. First 2 stages looked like he had a lot of speed, but then after that second stage there, seemed like he wasn't able to be up front. Of course, bad pit stop after the second stage, and then every caution after that seemed like he had a bad pit stop that kept him down in the running order until the end there. So as much as William Swalich first win, I also look, Corey Day, really fast car as well. So probably had a race winning car at one point during that race too. So still improvement for him, of course, as they can continue to improve on things, and really for both teams. So great win for Swalich. Now he's up to 11th in the point standings here. So only one win, 3 top 10s on the year, but Joe Gibbs Racing can continue to improve. They can continue to climb up in the standings like that, and everything. So solid day at Rockingham, as a Xfinity or as a O'Reilly Auto Part Series only weekend with the trucks. So bit of a refresher back to the kind of the old days of everything, and you kind of see Rockingham being a old school track, all the cars slipping around there with heavy tire wear and all that stuff. So that was pretty fun to see, of course. And obviously for Garrett Mitchell, aka Cletus McFarland, of course, for him, first O'Reilly Series debut here in this series, and to do it at a track like Rockingham's pretty tough, of course. But obviously, a lot of testing has gone on, a lot of preparation has gone on, and made his debut here. And had a couple of issues there, but he was able to finish the race in one piece mostly. So still, it takes a lot. I mean, of course, coming from somebody that doesn't really have a lot of stock car experience, and putting him into the hardest track that you can says a lot about his ability to do things. And it, a lot of people say, well, it's just some YouTuber guy, and I'm like, well, yeah, he's a YouTuber, but I mean, he has experience with cars and has some level of car control. So whether or not he can really drive it on the edge like some of these guys can, that still remains to be seen. But he's able to at least get the experience and continue to get the reps to potentially improve here and have the opportunity for this. So we'll see if they can get him onto another track like this to be able to improve more than just racing at Daytona and Talladega. But certainly shows how hard it really is, considering what all went on for Cletus there. So it was overall, I mean, throwback week, kind of a throwback weekend in a sense of the way that racing is at Rockingham, of course. And then at the end you saw Raja Karuth with his 3 wide pass on the bottom towards the last lap to get the final dash for cash spot. And you can see what he can do in a Junior Motorsports car as well. So lots of really good racing, of course, throughout this weekend at Rockingham, just with how things played out. So it was definitely, I mean, had most of it on, but it was definitely I will say interesting, at least for me, to see how things played out. And definitely for Cletus, it helps with the ratings and stuff. And but certainly it was interesting getting to see him race throughout the day.
Yeah, I mean, and then he put out a ton of content. He had over an hour video, just, recapping for him and Squirrel. Then he had the podcast he did this morning as well. So, I mean, that's like nearly 2 hours of content right there. Current situation, I was able to go and watch both of those. And it's not like they're really trying all that hard in terms of that, but in the grand scheme for him, it was a night and day, no pun intended, from what he was doing earlier in the morning in the ARCA car compared to being in the O'Reilly car. And he was running in the tail of the field there with guys like former guests of the show, Dawson Cram, that Lothian, Garrett Smithley, Joey Gase, these guys that are in the smallest teams, own the smallest teams, or in the smallest car, or like the least amount of like business, like have the money resources, and he's in an RCR car, and granted lacks experience, and he's sitting there struggling and being numerous half spins. Got moved by Starpoli, cut down on the 42 at one point, I think, unintentionally. But whether, I think Danny Lawrence came out in one of these stories, I think it was on motorsport.com, that Danny Lawrence came out and said they may make him run Kansas to clear him for Talladega. And I think that's the same situation for Squirrel, George Siciliano, at least for the ARCA race, of course. I mean, for Cleat, there's an added pressure thing, and I was thinking about this. Like, he loves Talladega and Daytona and all that crap, but it's like, he would be driving an RCR car at Talladega. That literally is a car that will qualify up front, and he's liable to find himself in a similar position as to what he was in at Daytona, in a truck with the Nice Motorsports. He got in a 3-wide pack, got loose, and wrecked 7 laps into the race. So, I mean, there's the notion of similarities, especially considering the equipment. They win every freaking plate race. I get that that's his favorite track, or one of his favorite tracks, but maybe there's something to be said that NASCAR is finally trying to reform their process. And they're using these two guys because the fact is they can get clicks and views, because Cleat has such a following, that they're utilizing those guys as the test pilots or test dummies for, rising up the ranks and actually doing it the right way, instead of some of these bums that have, cut checks, or, the ladies that, sword swallow their way to that, so we'll see what happens, though. In terms of Sawalich, as you said, Josh, I mean, for him to get that job done, finally get over that hump, and then for the Gibbs team, which has struggled this year, JRM has definitely been at the forefront. He still had 3 cars in the top 5, and then 4 in the top 12, so, I mean, it's not like they're going away. Allgaier is uber consistent. It's going to be very difficult to beat him in a points championship that emphasizes like showing up every week and getting the most points. So we'll see what happens with that. Allgaier up by 126 points on Jesse Love. 5 points further back is Sheldon Creed. Austin Hill is 4th, Corey Day is 5th, Carson Quapple 6th. I mean, honestly, there's, 49 points from 2nd to 8th. So it actually is pretty close. Once you get past Justin Allgaier, they have a really good points battle there. It's only, 30 or 29 points between 2nd to 6th. So, it's still an actually pretty interesting battle, but you could see the difference, at least for Quapple having to jump between cars. It's more apparent with Rajah Caruth. When he's in the 88 car, he seems to be, at least a step forward or above than when he's driving the Jordan Anderson stuff. So currently 10th in points. He's only 1 point ahead of Sawalich, who just, of course, won. And then, he's 12 points ahead of Taylor Gray. The bigger number for him, though, is Sam Mayer, who had issues again on Saturday, and is 42 points behind Rajah Caruth there. So we'll see what happens at Bristol this coming weekend. Move forward to the trucks, and Corey Heim, for a second time this year, gets a win. He's only run 3 races, and he's won 2 races. He's got 3 stage wins. He's tied in for points lead with Caden Honeycutt, his teammate, who's run 2 more races. I'm not so sure how great I'd feel knowing that I have a teammate that has only shown up for 3 races and beating me in points, but hey, whatever. We got the results here of the Black's Tire 200. Have to mention that Chandler Smith got DQ'd again. I feel like he got DQ'd in this race last year too, but a little bit more movement in this race compared to a little more variety in terms of point scores amongst the top 10. Or maybe no, that really wasn't that much movement. Corey Heim gets the win, leads the most laps, won both stages. Caden Honeycutt was second, caught up to him late in traffic, trying to make a move there. Lane Riggs third, Friesen fourth, Enfinger fifth. Ankrum, Corey LaJoy with the Dodge team, the Ram taking over for Daniel Dye, finished seventh. Ty Majeski got second in both stages, finished eighth. Jake Garcia started on pole for a second year in a row, finished ninth. Cole Butcher's teammate 10th, so 3 Thor Sport trucks all there. Then after that, Landon Lewis got a point in stage 1. Tanner Gray got points in both stages and led 17 laps to finish 16th. Gio Ruggiero ended up 17th. Daniel Hemrick 24th. And Parker Eatman 26th. Those are all the stage point scorers. Issues for Carson Osavar. He had multiple issues during the day. Adam Andretti had a wreck. And then you had Chandler Smith who got DQ'd there. But, this right here is, Corey Heim. Last year, he completely demolished the truck series, Josh. And as long as you put him in a truck with Tricon Garage, it's going to be pretty hard to beat him. I know that, Freddie said that they're front-loading his schedule because I think they're going to be putting him more in the Cup car here as the season moves forward. Which we'll see how that goes, because of course when you have Reddick running as well as he is, but then you're kind of seeing certain inconsistencies with Bubba, and then the 35 car being terrible, how that'll work. But in this truck, Caden Honeycutt probably could have 2 wins right now, but his teammate and defending series champion, the guy who used to drive that truck, has won those. But I think for Honeycutt, you can take it 2 ways. Corey Heim is that damn good, but I think it also speaks to the fact that Caden Honeycutt is going to be very hard to beat once you remove Corey Heim and like Carson Osavar and those guys out of the equation, because that team seems to be hitting on all cylinders as well.
Yeah, for Corey Heim, it's nothing we don't already know what he can do in the truck series. And for one thing, his point position or in the truck series, it just shows the amount of points that you can get for winning, and how winning even one race helps you in this point system. So it just shows how much winning rewards you if you do it, and he's been able to do it twice now, and also have top 5 under his belt. So for him, he doesn't have anything more to prove here in the truck series, but still has an option later. Potentially, like you said, he may have more opportunities in the 67 and then the Cup Series later this year. So hopefully he can get those opportunities here. It's kind of a shame he doesn't have at least Riley Auto Part ride full time, because that would definitely help him there. But we've seen him be able to do stuff in the Cup Series as well, and then he hasn't really had any issues there. So why not just have him in the Cup car as much as they can? So without doing the 4-car team, they'll have to figure out a way to keep him in that fold there. Perhaps maybe moving on from Riley Herbst there, but he should be in the Cup Series now, or at least in O'Reilly Auto Parts. But even guys like Carson Hocevar, who basically didn't compete in the O'Reilly or the Xfinity Series at the time full time before going into the Cup Series. So definitely for guys like that, who are uber talented, they can potentially skip a series and just go right into Cup. So it shows how much talent he has. And of course, Caden Honeycutt, I mean, you could just think of this as the first actual winner besides Corey Heim there. So Caden obviously is the points leader here, but still able to lead a lap here. But for Honeycutt, solid finish and being able to at least get a lap led there. So I guess that's good for him. But I mean, there's not really too much other things you can say. I mean, obviously Truck Series at Rockingham, and had 8 cars on the lead lap, so that just shows you how much of the spanking the Corey Heim was able to put on the field here. So just what he was able to do, thoroughly dominate the field like he usually does when he races in the Truck Series, but especially at a place like Rockingham for sure, and everything. So it was definitely for the Truck Series. I mean, definitely a day where we saw what Corey Heim could do once again.
Yeah, that's something that, I mean, I heard somebody call Tog on NASCAR radio being all worried about Toyota losing Corey Heim. And like you mentioned, I mean, I think the reality of the world is they're going to probably put him in that 35 car. Might renumber it to 67. I don't know, but I feel like that's the move. You also have Tricon, or not Tricon, the Legacy is going to have a third car, even though they're not really that good. They're going to have a third car next year because they got a charter from the Rick Ware or whatever. So the notion is there might be a couple options there. And then, I know Keebler Gibbs and that whole thing, we talked about it with the way that they've kind of moved. I feel like they've moved resources over to the 54, put an extra emphasis on that car compared to where it has been. Or, I don't know, maybe decided to actually take it serious finally instead of being a complete douche. But, if they want to find somebody that could replace Denny Hamlin, minus the fact that Keebler Gibbs and him may not get along, I mean, that's the guy. But I guess Denny is like, well, if you're not going to hire him, I'm going to hire him and keep him in my fold, and I'm going to have him and Tyler Reddick, and I can guarantee myself championship opportunities. And I also have one of the most popular drivers, most polarizing drivers, whatever, and Darrell Walsh Jr. too. So there's that. Of course, MJ wants winners, and that's what he's trying to do there. But I mean, for Caden Honeycutt, I think it's a matter of time once things kind of flesh out here. Points battle is somewhat compelling, actually. Chandler Smith getting DQ'd is not good for him, losing his points lead for the first time all year. But One Daytona has been up front. The front row team is fast. Him and Lane Riggs are not going away easy. Honeycutt is there. Ty Majeski, Gio Ruggiero has had some struggles. Eckes and the McAnally team has taken a step back this year, seemingly. You have Hemrick struggling right now. He's only 18th in points. He's behind 2 rookies right now. You got Enfinger right now is outside of the top 10. Justin Haley actually right now. So Heim, Honeycutt tied for points lead. Lane Riggs 11 points back. Chandler Smith is 17 points back in 4th. Majeski 5th. Ruggiero, Eckes, Rhodes, who had a terrible day on Friday. Friesen, Haley, the only one of the colleague trucks that are in there. Butterbean is in 17th in points right now, based on the cutoff, 14 and 7, 21 points back. And then Hemrick is a further is 23 points back. So that's really the extent of it. I mean, after that, you're getting into the weeds with like Chris Wrong, Muniz, Minnie Tyrell, Dawson Sutton, Spencer Boyd, who actually has run every race. Corey LaJoy's run 3 races, but this is the first race I think he decided to declare for points. So that's something that's interesting that we'll have to kind of watch now, because he's 70, 84 points out of 10th. So, I mean, it's not like the Rams have shown a lot of pace, but, crazy things have happened. The win and in scenario makes it harder. Without having that, makes it harder to get in. But, what was it when Ross Chastain went and switched points in the middle of the year and was able to, come around it and somehow or another get all the way to the Final Four in the trucks with Nice.
Isn't that like 2019 or 2018?
Yeah, something like, that was before he got his opportunity there. I think it was with once that was pre-Larson going and trying to cancel himself, and then somehow or another getting an upgrade in his career. But so we'll see what happens with that. They'll be racing at Bristol as well this Friday. Okay, so let's move on to the Masters. Rory McIlroy last year became the 6th player ever to win the Grand Slam in his 11th attempt. Tried everything in his power to make people have heart attacks. He hit an absolutely unfathomable wedge shot on 13 into the water. Made 4 double bogeys during the week, most double bogeys ever. 5, like, it's insane amount of doubles, and still win the event. Missed a putt on 18 in regulation to win it outright. Had to beat his good friend and European Ryder Cup compatriot Justin Rose in a playoff to go and get that done. But for Rory McIlroy, tomorrow he'll be hosting the Champions Dinner. And for the rest of his life, he will be a Masters champion. So there is that. In terms of the field, first time since 1993 or 4 that, look at Wolfson. Michigan leading at halftime of the national championship game here. So it is the 90th Masters. This year is our 7th year of the GSP. So tradition, amateur tradition. They're showing all the stuff with the amateurs, renovating the patch, players. I'm just going to go look through the, so we got, trying to look for, past champions not playing. These early guys are still 6, 12, 17. Of course, these are all the living past champions that are. Fuzzy Zeller passed away last December, so be first Masters without him since 1978. A lot of firsts in that, no Phil Mickelson this year, no Tiger because he can't drive a car, and all the pictures of him during that stop are quite damning, to the point where they had to let him go out of the country to go and get help. For substance abuse or whatever he's got going on. But, I look at some of these guys that would be possible favorites. You have to, of course, Scotty, 2-time winner, coming off now his wife. They just had their 2nd child last week, so he's pretty fired up. You have to look at some of these other guys. A couple of Jersey guys here. Chris Gotterup, Jacob Bridgman, who won early. Both of them have won earlier this year on tour, but they're young. They don't have as much experience at this course, so it might be harder for them. I would look at mean, it'll be hard for Rory to repeat. I have a hard time believing he's going to repeat. I think if Colin Morikawa was healthy, I definitely would be putting a lot on him, but he isn't healthy, and it seems like he's still kind of laboring with his back issues, so there is that. Going through this field and trying to look for somebody. I mean, you've got the guys that are the former champions. You can never count them out. You got Xander there. He hasn't put it together this year as of yet. Jordan Spieth, he's another one, former champion. I mean, I look at JT. I think if there was one person I think would probably be a favorite that I would be looking at, New York player, and Cameron Young. He won the Players Championship and showed a lot of mettle there. Has never won a major as of yet, been close before. It could be an opportunity for him this week amongst other guys. It's a wide open field this year. More coverage will be on Amazon Prime for a couple of hours on Thursday and Friday as well. So we'll see what happens with that. See some of these other players, see what they can do. Of course, I'm always rooting for Akshay Bhatia, or as they say, Akshay Bhatia. Be rooting for him, the lanky left-hander who drives at miles. And this course has been very, very kind to left-handers over the previous 25 years, I would say, 26 years, maybe more. But really starting with Mike Weir in 2003, then Phil 3 times, Bubba Watson twice. It's definitely been kind to left-handers, and there's a few really strong lefties that are out in this event. So opportunities for some of those guys, and we'll see. But we'll definitely talk about it next week and more in what happened in the tournament, the Masters tournament, in more detail. Okay, let us move to the roundup. So, roundup here. Supercross was at St. Louis, the old stadium where the Rams played, the Dome at America's Center. It was an East-West shootout. In the West heat, Hayden Deegan won by 13.2 seconds over Max Voland and 15.2 seconds over Hunter Yoder. Those are 2 Club MX Yamahas. 250 East, Cole Davies won his heat over Seth Hamaker by 5 seconds, and then Cody Schock, Dover, Delaware, Pennsylvania. And then Nicholas Romanos from Queens. Damn, interesting. So yeah, those are your the podium finishers in the heat races. And heat race 1, Justin Cooper got the win over Cooper Webb, his teammate Chase Sexton. There was not as many big names in that heat. In heat 2, Ken Roxon gets the win over Hunter Lawrence. Eli Tomac was 5th. Malcolm Stewart there with 3rd. Jordan Smith actually 8th. In the 250 East-West Showdown, Hayden Deegan goes out there, gets the win by 15.6 seconds over the East leading Cole Davies, his teammate at Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha. Seth Hamaker finished 3rd. Nate Thrasher 4th. Ryder DeFrancesco 5th there. So then for the 250 West, Hayden Deegan gets the championship, locks the championship up with 2 rounds to go. He's won 6 races, and the other 2 races that he didn't win, he finished 2nd and 4th in those. Levi Kitchen is 3 points out of Max Anstey. Ryder DeFrancesco is 4th. Then you have Max Voland in 5th. In the 250 East, it's actually much more competitive. Cole Davies, 11 points out of Seth Hamaker there. Still a compelling battle. But Davies has won 3 times and 2nd in 2 other races. Hamaker has a win 1 second, and 3 thirds. Both of them have been pretty consistent. Joe Shimoda got hurt during the heat race on Saturday, so don't know what his circumstances are. The 450 main event, Ken Roczen gets the win by 13.3 seconds over Justin Cooper. Hunter Lawrence was third. Eli Tomac was sixth. You got Malcolm was eighth there. The Supercross championship now. Eli Tomac is tied with Hunter Lawrence for the points lead, and Ken Roczen with 2 consecutive wins, a second in the last 3 races. He's finished second, first, and first, and hasn't finished out as his worst finish of the season is 10th. He has 3 wins. Hunter Lawrence has 3 wins. Eli Tomac has 4, but he's been trending downward ever since winning at Daytona again. Second, third, fifth, sixth, the last 4 races. So 3-horse battle here going into the next round. The next round will be at Nashville. They'll be racing Nissan Stadium. Then they'll be in Cleveland, Philly, Denver. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and Salt Lake City, 5 rounds to go left in the season. So plenty of time need to perform there. So get through that. Move over to Super Formula. Haku, Ota, and then Sakaguchi was second. Ayumu Iwasa currently third in points. Fukuzumi was fourth. Currently, Ota won both races there, so there was a couple of top 10s for Iwasa. Ren Sato, you got go through some of these. Yeah, Juju Noda amongst a bunch of drivers that didn't score points there. The less than 75 were due disruptions due to rain, so they only gave half points. The non-Japanese drivers, Luke Browning, the best of those right now, finished 4th in the second race. He's 5th in points. Zach O'Sullivan, 9th. Igor Fraga, 10th in points. Sasha Fenitraz, 12th. Roman Stanek has a half a point. And Charlie Wurtzen getting points there. Probably last time to talk about it, too. We'll move to Rally Croatia, WRC. Yeah, so Efren Evans, Oliver Solberg, Takamoto Katsuda coming off of his first win. Sami Pajari for Toyota. Then in Hyundai, Formo, Thierry Neuville, former champion Hayden Patton will be driving the third car. And Armstrong McElrain for M Sport. That's the 9 Rally 1 cars that'll be in the field. So that is, I'm trying to see, though it is it is a pavement, so it's a tarmac rally. So I'm surprised that Ogier isn't in this race, but I guess Toyota doesn't want to screw over one of their guys that actually is in the championship for the whole season. Supercars will be back this week. The Taupo Super Sprint. Let me move this Supercar. Yeah. Waters at the Concord, New Zealand, and winless streak. Taupo Super 440. Taupo International Motorsports Park for the first of the New Zealand doubleheader. Trying to remember what this circuit used to be named. Taupo for the third time, a historic debut in Christchurch. They renamed all of these dang circuits, and it's like I forget what Google previous one as Bruce McLaren Motorsports Park. Okay, feel like it was Taupo. Okay, well, I guess I'm wrong. All right, that's fine. I'm wrong all the time. We'll go to the driver's standings heading into this weekend's event. Brody Kostecki leading the points by 28 over Cam Waters. Brock Feeney is third. Matthew Payne is fourth. So 4 Fords up there. Kostecki and Feeney have 3 wins apiece. Feeney has 2 poles. Kostecki has 1. Anton De Pasquale, the lead Chevy, with the win and a pole. Jack LeBrock. Ryan Wood, the leading Toyota. Kai Allen, James Golding, and then defending champion Chaz Mostert, rounding out your top 10. Move over to the NHRA, Mission Foods Drag Racing Series. The Jim Campbell Racing Densham Motorsports. Oh, okay. Jim Campbell. Campbell's in front of funny car, but is now embraced for a strikeout later this year. Okay. So I guess Jim Campbell still hasn't been able to get his car together for the season. But in and out, national, meet your favorite drivers. Saturday, 12:30, whole event schedule. They're showing the, that's a drag strip right there. All the people they're interviewing, all that stuff. This website, man, I gotta tell you, you gotta help some people if you're gonna make a website like this, man. There you go, competitors. So no pro stock motorcycles this weekend. It'll be top alcohol drags for funny car. None of the other special classes. Pro stock will have 19 cars for 16 spots. Dave Connolly actually driving for Cody Coughlin. Interesting. Carissa Vang, never heard of him. Stephen Bell, Joey Girls, Derek Kramer. Just a bunch of Chevys. They should just call it Pro Chevy because that's literally what it is. In funny car, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18 for 16. You got 2 or 3 people that aren't regulars there, but got Austin Prock wanting to go and make a statement after not making the race at Gainesville. Spencer Hyde there, driving for Jim Head. Chad Reen, who won the Gator Nationals. You got Jordan Vandergriff, Jack Beckman, and DeJoria. Of course, the 3 drivers for John Forst, Cruz Pentagon, trying to win this was the 1,000th funny car event ever, so it'd be interesting to see who can go out there and get this in the 75th year of the NHRA, so who can go get that. Top fuel field looks a little lighter there, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, yeah, so there's somebody, whoever qualifies number 1 will get a bye into the second round. You got, Matty Gordon, Will Smith driving the Bluebird Turf, Redline Oil car, Cameron Foray. Then you have Ron August Jr., whoever that is. And so, the points, standings, Doug Coletta in top fuel has a 2-point lead over Josh Hart, 6-point lead on Sean Langdon. Leah Pruitt is 4th, 18 points behind Maddie Gordon, 24 points back. Rounding out the top 5, Tony Stewart 6th, 1 point ahead of Antron Brown, Tony Schumacher, Billy Torrance, Sean Reed there. So only 2 races in. Funny car, Chad Green, 18-point lead on Spencer Hyde, Ron Capps, J.R. Todd, Matt Hagan. Then you have DeJoria, Vandergriff, Lee, Wilkerson, Beckman. Then in Pro Stock, Dallas Glenn, 35-point lead on Matt Hartford, Cody Coughlin, Greg Anderson, Eric Enders, Greg Stanfield, Matt Latino, Jed Coughlin Jr., Aaron Stanfield, and then Greg Anderson's on Cody currently in the 10th spot. And yeah, all right. So let us move forward into the tripleheader, Bristol this weekend. We'll start with the Craftsman Truck Series, Tennessee Army National Guard 250 at Bristol on Friday night. 37 for 36. So one truck will go home. You have Corey Heim again in the 1 for Tricon. Luke Baldwin will be driving for Rayum in the 2. And Richard driving in the 4 for Nice. They don't have anybody listed in the 5 as of now. Kyle Busch, who's won like 19,000 races at Bristol, will be driving in the Spire number 7. Corey LaJoie, as mentioned, of course, took over the 10 for Colleague, so he'll be there the rest of the year. Trying to see who else there. I don't have anybody listed in the 22. Carson Ferguson's going to be running the 25 for Colleague. Of course, he finished runner-up to Mini Tyrell in the race for the seat, so he'll get his opportunity this weekend in the free agent truck. Got Ross Chastain will be in this race in the 45 for Nice. Got Christopher Bell in the Halmar Friesen 62. Daniel Suarez in the number 71 for Spire. Carson Hocevar driving the 77. Justin Carroll already withdrew from the event, so one truck's going to go home. I would think like Caleb Costner or somebody that's kind of buried in points, owner's points. Suarez doesn't have any points with that truck, so it would be interesting if something happened. He'd go home actually. One of them Rayum trucks maybe, but okay, so let us see here. Last week Josh went first, so we'll go. All right, I'll go first here. So Craftsman trucks at Rockingham or at Bristol. You know, we picked 1 and 2 last week. You were closer on the O'Reilly series. Let's see. So Phil is going to go Corey Heim to win, and I'm going to go Corey LaJoie as a wild card for me because of his experience and Thor Sports experience. How about you, man?
Yeah, I'll go with Kyle Busch to win, and
Oof, bad shit.
I don't know, was a good guy to pick here as a wild card.
I mean,
Luke Baldwin.
Wow. Okay. That is wild. That is basically what the algorithm was named after, was basically picking, I mean, it's true. I mean, after you get past, I mean, you have to look at the points, to be fair. I'm curious now.
It's his only second start, right?
Yeah, it's only, I mean, it's not, he's definitely eligible. I'm not saying that. That's not the issue. I'm just trying to figure out who would theoretically, because you got 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, there's like 21 drivers that have run every race this year, so it's really 11. Once you get past like Tyler Ankrum, in theory, you could actually, you have some good choices here.
I will change it. Yeah, I was not looking at the standings here and everything.
You really have some good.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Butterbean with Brandon Queen. Yeah.
All right, we're both supporting Mopar here this week. And Brendan Butterbean Bean Queen. All right, we'll see. I do think it will be Cup. I think we're both leaning on Cup heavy domination, and whether it's Corey Heim or Kyle Busch, I think one of those two guys, it probably comes down to one of those two, but there's definitely a lot of solid drivers here, you know, with Richard Stenhouse, with Richard, I'm calling him by both of his names, Chastain, Bell, Kosovar and Suarez also being in this, so it could be a cup benefit. Let's just say that. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, the Suburban Propane 300. If I could go and do a Hank Hill voice, it would be perfect for this. 38 for 38. Nobody's going to go home. 25 still not back, so who knows what's going to happen for Nick Sanchez. It sounds like their situation with that team probably going through a restructure. Trying to go through some of these here. The 74 is in. They have them, so they're as a field filler there. So I don't know. It probably will be Dawson Cram. Zilich is in the 1 this week with Rodney Childers. The 5 for Hettinger doesn't have a driver as of yet. Got Carson Quapple in the 9 this week. Brent Cruz gonna run out the rest of the season trying to make it in after missing a few races because of being too young. Then you have, what is it? Raja back in the 32s for Jordan Anderson. Not sure who'll be in the 35 this week. Could be Joey Gase, but got Logan Bearden in the Youngs 42. And Kyle Larson will be in the 88 for JRM. Gio in the 91. Yeah, so that's that. So Josh, you get first dibs here on the O'Reilly series.
Yeah, Kyle Larson. This is the race last year where he said he wanted to dominate the field and whenever he competes in Xfinity. So yeah, I'll pick him again here in this race. And then wild card, go with Brent Cruz here in the 19.
That's a good hedge. Really good hedge. Because he hasn't run every race anyway, so I mean that sense alone he's eligible. And then I think they've enough drivers there. He's still eligible that way too. Because what is it? You have 19. 25, 26, 27. Nick's, yeah, so it's 27. So I would say like Nick Sanchez would have been 28, so it would have been 14. But yeah, so he's eligible either way for at least for a couple more races. Top 13, it would be 13 there. So yeah, so for me, I am going to go with I'm gonna go with Carson Quapple. Would be interesting that he wins in the 9, not the 1, but I'm gonna go Carson Quapple to get a first win here. And my wild card selection will be, I'll go Harrison Burton. So yeah, so let's go over there. So Phil goes Carson Quapple to win and Harrison Burton wild card. Cup Series at Bristol. Go into like the Food City 500. The Food City 500 at Bristol. Be on Sunday afternoon, returning after the Easter break. Looks like 30. Okay, so Chad Fincham, Garage 66, so Carl Long's team showing up this week. Otherwise, the usual suspects here. Curious now. Might as well run it. I'm going to have to use it anyways for Mike Sanders' game later this week, but curious about this. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'll pick Larson, for the Cup Series race here.
Hendrick sweep.
Yeah, Kyle Larson to win, and then my wild card would be, because we have 35 drivers, so 18. I really could pick Chase Briscoe. I keep on picking him. I'm going to pick them until it breaks the damn curse. That's what I'm going to do.
Manifest. I like that.
So Chase, Briscoe, wild card. Josh, you get last call here. Plenty of good candidates out there, the likes of Dennis Hamlin, Chris Bell, amongst others. So,
well, I got the Denny Hamlin, I beat your favorite driver win diecast right here from 2023. Yeah, when he beat Kyle Larson and everybody else. So, yeah, I will pick Denny Hamlin to beat everybody's favorite driver once again at Bristol here in the spring race. So I'll pick him as my wild card, and as my winner. Sorry. And wild card, we'll go with just double check. Go with Eric Jones.
all right, and that Jones boy, wild card. All right, so yeah, we'll see how it goes at Bristol this week. Of course, for the Cup Series, they'll be on a pretty long trek in terms of the schedule from now until till the end of July. They'll be racing every single weekend. So Cup Series will be going for a while. O'Reilly Series is going to have an off week after Nashville, and then one in July. As they're going to have a few weeks in the summer there. So really chill. I mean, basically it gets choppy after the race at Atlanta in July. They have like 4 off weeks and like 6. It's going to be goofy, but right in the heart of baseball season too, and right when training camp is. Schedule for the trucks, they've had a few off weeks. They'll run these 2 weeks, then they're going to have a couple weeks off, then they're going to run 6 weeks in a row with the trucks, then an off week, 1 race, and 2 off weeks, and 3 races. Yeah, so, I mean, the truck series will be a little bit more. The one wonky race will be the naval-based Coronado deal there. And then, actually, the truck series chase is pretty consistent in terms of them only having 1 off week in there. So, they've made the schedule somewhat more logical there. Josh, your time to shine. Tell us what's going on in the world of iRacing, gaming, and the sim segment.
Yeah, obviously, for iRacing this week, Bristol on hand for NASCAR series, the Cup, O'Reilly Auto Part, and Truck Series, obviously. For other oval series, we got NASCAR Gen 4 at the Martinsville Speedway. The 87 cars at Michigan this week. The IndyCar Oval Series is at Las Vegas this week. The IndyCar Fixed Formula Series is at the Miami International Autodrome for some reason. Indy NXT and the IndyCar, I think iRacing IndyCar Series are at Long Beach Street Circuit this week on there. Let's see what else. Sports cars. Got Production Car Sim Challenge at Adelaide Street Circuit. Got the Toyota GR86 at Tsukuba Circuit this week. iRacing IndyCar or IMSA iRacing Series at Algarve this week. GT3 at Spa this week as well. LMP2 Prototype Challenge also at Algarve this week too. Let's see, Michelin Pilot Challenge at Donington Park. Formula Car side, Formula Fords are at Summit Point Raceway this week. Formula V is also Summit Point Raceway this week. Super Formula at Mugello. Super Formula B at Hockenheimring this week. Formula A at the Nürburgring here this week. So got all of that. The big event that's supposed to be this week is the IMSA Classic 500, which is reviving the classic 500-mile race at, I think this was originally a Road America thing, but for some reason they switched it to Laguna Seca. But part of the IMSA GT Championship in 1979, so racers get to experience the excitement of racing the Nissan GTP ZXT or the Audi 90 Quattro GTO. So that's the big special event team event here this week. In sports car on iRacing this week. Let's see, anything else this week in iRacing happening? Yeah, as mentioned already there. Yeah, think that just about covers it. Yeah, for iRacing. So yeah, we'll get back into it this week, of course. iRacing, and all other kinds of sim racing, of course. Yeah, of course, you can follow the iRacing streams at uSailor2 on Twitch, and you can go on there and see all the streams, of course. My personal Twitter page at JP Hoffine on Twitter. You can go on Gripster Podcast YouTube page and see our shows there. And then, of course, my personal photography page for racing and launch photography at Josh Huffine Photography on Instagram. So, yeah, of course, a tradition unlike any other, the GSP. Of course, glad to be in it. I don't know if we'll go for 90 years. If we'll have lots of advances in technology and human health if we're somehow around here for 90 years. But certainly, currently, right now, a tradition here, just like the Masters.
Tradition may not be as great as the Masters, the concessions and the garden gnomes and all the other stuff that they have and all the other horny things that people feel like they have to buy and all the great food they have there. That's really why, as much as anything, I'd probably want to go. If I could go there, I'd eat everything on the menu. And then I'd have like a second trimester baby and pass out in like a chair somewhere, and they'd probably make me look like John Daly or some crap. But yeah, it's a tradition that we've had for 7 years and hope to keep it going for as long as we can here doing the Grip Strip podcast, both Josh and I. So, yeah, of course, the Grip Strip podcast YouTube page, as he mentioned, Josh, also GSP 1428. You can find me on Insta, PGM GSP 28. Find the Grip Strip podcast on philipgmatthew.com, podbean.com, Twitter, PGMatthew28, barely on it anymore. We'll be back next week for episode 311 of the GSP. We will talk about all of 3 major NASCAR series at Bristol last week. And then the other racing in the roundup. We'll also go and preview the Grand Prix at Long Beach, IndyCar, NASCAR up in O'Reilly will be at Kansas. The WEC series will start at Imola, and then the Supercars will be at Christchurch, the New Zealand doubleheader, Assen for World Superbike. So decent amount of racing coming up next week. We'll talk a little bit football as well with the draft coming up soon and everything else that comes up in the world of racing, sports, our bowling games, whatever we'll talk about here on the Grip Strip podcast. So for Josh and Phil, please like, comment, subscribe. Also check me out at the Motorsports Reports. And yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.